Hello and welcome to Guild Wars Players News, the podcast where we take a look at Guild Wars game series news and talk about content on our site, Guild Wars Players. I'm Sithrith, and today we have Draculata.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
And we have Athelros.
Hey.
Oh, okay. So that was a normal introduction. We are human beings, and we have normal interactions, like human beings. Anyways, so first of all, this isn't in the show notes, so sorry, Drac and Athelros, but first of all, I want to mention that this week was the 10th anniversary of Guild Wars 1. So, yay, Guild Wars 1, because without Guild Wars 1, obviously we wouldn't have Guild Wars 2, and there's all sorts of great stuff. And yeah, the anniversary kind of thing is still going on, right, Drac?
Yes, it is.
Okay, that's what I thought. So yeah, if you play the original Guild Wars, go check it out. And yeah, this week was the 10th anniversary, which is crazy. I can't... Every time like an MMO hits 10 years, it just seems crazy to me.
Yeah, it does not really seem like it's been that long because I actually played it from launch, and it just blows my mind that it was 10 years ago that it actually did launch.
Mm-hmm.
It does not seem like it's been that long at all.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And I've heard that there have been some celebrations also in Guild Wars 2 as well. Obviously smaller scale and player run, not like official ones, but still, if you're interested in those kind of things, I'm sure you can find those. But moving on to other game news, today ArenaNet posted up a couple of articles about the first elite specialization that they're going to talk about, and that is the Mesmer Chronomancer elite specialization. And Thoros, since your main character is a Mesmer, I will let you cover the Chronomancer.
Yeah. So, so this is the specialization that comes with the shield offhand, which is, Their reasoning for it is more amusing than anything else. Pretty much their explanation was, obviously Chronomancer is to do with time manipulation generally, and since clocks are big and round and shields are big and round, it makes sense that they could go with the shield and have us use those. So that was an interesting thought process, if nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
The abilities are also to do with manipulating time in general. So they have speed buffs, that sort of thing. They have something that's kind of like chill but flipped around. So instead of increasing cooldown times for abilities, they speed them up, which is quite handy, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
They have a interesting stun ability that sort of either buffs enemy allies or stuns enemies if they're in the actual effect area. They have wells, which I'm not really fond of in general. I don't like that sort of play style of they have to be in that place to be affected by it, because mobs don't like to stay still, and neither do players, so
That's true.
it's kind of... I'm not really fond of those in general. And there's a new shadow skill for F5 that seems quite trolly, if I'm being honest, for the use of PvP. Being able to just split yourself off into time and space and then re-emerge back where you started could be quite interesting for juking people, especially considering Mesmers are kind of good at that anyway, with all the clones they've got.
And it's interesting because it's not just like, oh, you can run away and then you port back. It's like you can run away, do a whole bunch of stuff, come back, and then you'll have the same amount of health and cooldowns and stuff you had before. So That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, probably one that people would use more than the current. I think most people just use the normal Shatter and the Confusion one maybe sometimes, but the rest are kind of really situational. This seems like it would be really powerful for PvP.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
So that's kind of that. I'm not really sure if I would use the offhand shield that much. It's just kind of... I think probably more what decided is how much damage you can kind of do with it.
Yeah, I mean, they only really tell us about the one shield skill, which is that like wall that sends out and gives quickness or stuns enemies. So it'll be... It's hard to tell right now how useful the shield will be, but I mean, it seems interesting.
Yeah, not my taste in terms of aesthetic, I suppose, but it should be interesting if nothing else.
Yeah, and for anybody who's interested, tomorrow they are doing a Points of Interest live stream, and they will be showing off gameplay of the Chronomancer Elite Specialization. So if you want to see what the gameplay is like, go check that out. So yeah, that happened. Last week we also, after the day after the show, they did their big live stream where they talked about the core specializations for each class. So keeping in mind, we talked about this last week. Core specializations refers to what we now think of as trait lines. Elite specializations are what we were calling just specializations during the Heart of Thorns launch. So everything is kind of a specialization. The elite specializations are the new ones that give you new weapons to use and like make your profession into something slightly different. Whereas core specializations, they're just your trait lines that you have right now. So in this live stream last week, they went over all of the specializations, the core specializations, that is, for all of the classes, in pretty good detail actually. And we have a link to Dolphy's write-up, because obviously she just did a great write-up. She went through and she took screen caps of all the relevant traits and skills and stuff that they talked about. Every class gets a very thorough going over. Some classes, I guess, are more excited about their changes than others. Apparently some people are upset about the Necromancer changes or lack thereof, because it's kind of not a whole lot is changing for Necromancer. But personally, I'm pleased because that means I get to use my same build. But yeah, I definitely recommend going and checking out those changes to see what is changing for your profession. So you can keep that in mind going forward, see if you need to, find a new build or something. These aren't the same kind of sweeping changes like with the Lord of the Rings Online trait changes that they had 2 years ago, so don't panic like I was kind of last week. It's not that bad. But from what I've seen, most people are generally okay or pleased with the changes. So go check them out. Delphi has all the details on her site. So also this week, we got a little bit of an update on the 28th. It's pretty small. I mean, it came with the usual, like, Black Lion store, gem store stuff. They switched out some of the Black Lion chest ticket weapons. And most notably, in the update, they also made engineer turrets affected by conditions and critical hits. So that's good for PvP. People who are fighting against engineers. Probably not so good for the engineers themselves, but I'm personally very pleased. Also, they introduced a new item, and Drac, you posted an article on the site about this.
Yeah, this was a little odd to me, the way they're doing this.
Yeah,
but
I've never seen anything like this before.
I can't think of any other MMORPG that's ever done anything like this before. So this is...
Yeah, not that I can think of.
This is pretty much new ground, I guess you could say. But what they're doing is in the Maguma Jungle, or the Maguma Waste, I should say, you will have a chance... Of course, you're talking RNG here, so just keep that in mind.
It's a very slim chance, let's say.
Of getting a trophy item, which is basically a Mysterious Portal. Will drop, and you can loot that. And what that Mysterious Portal is going to do is that's going to give you access to the next closed Heart of Thorns beta. So they're not. It sounds like they're not going to invite beta people this round. It's only going to be people that find these portals as drops.
Right.
Which is weird to me to do it like that, because especially with the very low drop rate, because I know I've only seen a couple people talk about finding them, so I don't know if people are finding them and not talking about it, or that drop rate is just crazy low.
Well, they did also introduce a hotfix, I think on Wednesday, where they upped the drop rate a little bit. But basically, it's like you can get these portals either from mobs or from event chests in Dry Top and Silver Wastes. So people have been farming Vine Wrath and the Dry Top events like crazy, obviously. I've been doing it a lot lately just because it's a good way to make money generally. But I think I've seen about 5 or 6 people link the portals in chat. But it's kind of hard because, like, it's hard to tell, obviously who all has gotten them, because sometimes somebody will get it and just be like, okay, and then just be done with Vine Wrath entirely and just leave. And obviously not everybody's going to link their portals or whatever. But Another thing to keep in mind with these portals is once you get them, your account is flagged for the closed beta and you can sell them, so you don't have to worry about losing it or whatever. But yeah, it's a very interesting way to do a closed beta because I've never usually you have to fill out some stupid form and then just cross your fingers and wait. This one they're actually I guess incentivizing people to go out and do content in the game currently.
I guess I like that part of it. Mm-hmm. But just the whole randomness of the RNG is the part that I just don't like at all.
Yeah. Well, we know that you have issues with the RNG.
So I was about to say we all know the RNG hates me anyway, so and it doesn't matter what game it is, it's just if the RNG is involved, it just eludes me for whatever is the chance to drop. So I won't get one.
Drek, but maybe you'll do Vine Wrath and you'll get a red skeleton steed.
Hey, there you go. That's right. That would be my luck.
Mm-hmm. So what all did they add to the gem store this week, Drek, in that update?
Well, in keeping with the celebration of the Guild Wars 10th anniversary birthday, they introduced the Balthazar weapon set. Actually, I guess they didn't introduce that to the store. That's been in the store. What they did is they temporarily reduced the ticket price for the Chaos and Tormented weapons to 1 Black Lion claim ticket per weapon now. So if you would like the Balthazar weapon sets and you couldn't afford it before, and you have 1 lonely little Black Lion claim ticket sitting in your inventory, you can get one of the cool Balthazar weapons for that now. In the gem store, though, they do have the mini piglet and the mini orange kitten.
Nice. I have not gotten the cat.
I'm surprised. I'm really surprised.
Try not to spend too many gems. I'm trying to save up for Heart of Thorns.
But what cracks me up is on the page on GuildWars2.com, they said you can befriend the fierce mini orange kitten mini.
Yeah.
And you look at the picture of the cat, and it's just like this sad-looking little cat. And it's like, yeah, it's really fierce. And they did do some upgrades, as you alluded to earlier, to the Black Lion chest. There is some new drops in there now. The mini snow owl, the mini hawk, and the mini raven, which I really, really want that raven because it's pretty sweet looking. Mm-hmm. But then again, we know I'll never get that because it's RNG based. And
unfortunately,
they did take some things out of the Black Lion chest as well. Custom Arena Time tokens, Lion's Arch commemorative die kits, the Lion's Arch Survivors die kit, the Mini Super Monkey, Super Spider, Super Bee-Dog, Super Yeti, Super Raccoon, and the Super Banana are no longer in the Black Lion chest.
What a shame.
And that is your store update for this week.
Thank you very much, Drek. So that brings us... Oh no, I closed the show notes. That was dumb. Okay. Waiting for my page to load. Okay. So moving on to news from our site. I finally posted up the last part of my PvP guide for new people to PvP. I know it's a long time coming and I procrastinated and I'm a bad person, but it's up now, so it's okay. And in this guide called Ready Fight, I go over basically the different kinds of matches you can do. So practice, unranked, and ranked. And I also talk about the different kinds of maps you can do, and some terminology that you might hear players use regarding these maps, like mid, home, far, stuff like that. And also the kind of like little gimmick that each map has. So if you are interested in getting into PvP, go read those guides and send us any questions. If you need to know more, if I left something out, please let me know. And I'll try and answer your questions as much as I can. So we also got a poem, another poem from Char Char. This one's a bit shorter than the last one. And Drek has agreed to read it for us.
Knock those arrows, loose those stowed. Shoot so fast it seems time slowed. Smashing two like a fool. Can't beat this in a pew-pew duel. Castle walls, high and thick, protect me from all but the magnet trick. Too bad I drop fast as glass that's cooled too fast.
Now that is some Pine Leaf level poem reading.
I tried.
That was very good.
I tried.
He's had his influence on you.
Yeah, you've clearly been spending a lot of time with Pine Leaf.
I have.
Good job. So yes, that is Char-Char's Glass Cannon poem. Thank you for posting that, Char-Char. And this week our poll was about how you feel about Trahearne. Trahearne, it seems, is a very divisive character in Guild Wars 2. And that's why I posted the poll. I've heard people just hating him and wanting Trahearne to be killed and hoping that in Heart of Thorns we have to fight him as a boss battle or something. And I've heard people like myself who just love Trahearne and think he's a very great salad. So I put up a poll to see what people thought. And oh my gosh, we got 54 votes. 32 votes at 59% of the total votes said that I love Trahearne. 10 votes went to Trahearne. And 8 votes at 15% said he's okay. And we got 4 people who said who? So I don't know if that means they don't care about him so much that they're just like, who? Or they haven't gotten that far in the story, maybe. I don't know. But
Probably
that's
both.
not... Yeah, probably both. But that's not even the most interesting part. The most interesting part is how much discussion this has generated. We've never had this many comments on a Guild Wars Players post before, and we've never had this many long comments in a post before. We had people completely new to the site posting to explain their feelings about Trahearne to this post. Everybody has a very, very intense opinion. Our own Mel commented and he said, he doesn't like Trahearne because he feels that Trahearne takes the player's credit for everything. I disagree. Some other people also disagree, like Grimoire says that he or she disagrees. And Ray Silver also disagrees with that, saying that they do not feel that the player character's credit is being stolen. Tapco feels kind of neutral and doesn't really like him, but not for the usual reasons that people don't like Trahearne. Just that he's kind of bleh, I guess. And Char-Char is, convinced that Trahearne's a dragon minion. So there's that.
That would be a heck of a plot twist, though. If that
I hope they don't do that. I'll be
if that
so
actually
sad.
turns out to be the case, that would be like would really diversify your player base.
You gotta give him props for playing the long game because he's been doing it a long time.
Well, he is the oldest Sylvari, so
yeah, quite a long time
the
to
longest
be
game,
deceiving everyone.
I guess. But I really hope they don't do that. I hope they don't. If we have to fight and kill Trahearne, I'm gonna be so sad, you guys.
If we have to fight him, he should at least be difficult.
I hope he's super difficult. Well, he's got that super powerful greatsword made from the Pale Tree, which is why I don't think it's going to happen, but whatever.
I think when people say that he steals the credit and takes credit for what we do, I don't think they mean him personally, because I'm pretty sure he's never done that at any point.
Right.
I think it's more the game and the way the plot's set up and sort of designed.
Kind of the way Trahearne is framed as the savior of war instead of you.
He's framed that way. It's not him personally doing it. It's just the way it's designed. It kind of shows him being given credit. But even so, I don't really think... I think it's usually both of you getting credit.
Right, yeah. Well, that's the thing. Even at the end, he doesn't go and defeat Zhaitan, and the whole thing is celebrating you defeating Zhaitan. So, I don't know. He mostly just seems excited that it's happened.
Maybe don't like being put on the same level as an NPC.
I guess. I don't know. I feel I don't know. I said in my comment that maybe my point of view is tainted because I've been playing Lord of the Rings Online for so long, where you definitely 100% are not the key people in the story. And that is very clear from the very start, because obviously you can't play as the Fellowship of the Ring in Lord of the Rings Online. That doesn't make any sense. So you are not the main person in the storyline. You never are, you never will be. And so even in Guild Wars 2, where you're the commander of the pack, that seems like a big deal comparatively.
I suppose that's a good point, actually. I think in most MMOs you typically are the most important person in the story, because it's usually about you. I think maybe just our past experience kind of, I don't want to say trained, but sort of conditioned us to be kind of okay with not being in the limelight constantly.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably a big part of it. So, yeah, Trahearne. Divisive character. Who knew?
Please shave.
Yeah, he's got these weird, cheek.
Stubble leaves.
I don't even want... They're too big for stubble. They're just like giant leaves on his cheeks.
Cut them off, please. Really irritating.
Especially when you see like in the personal story when it's like the cinematic things and you can see the leaf on the other side of his face moving when he's talking.
It's so
weird.
irritating. You just want to tear it off.
It's just weird. It's weird. Not as weird as the slobbering noises that Char make, though. So,
That's
whatever.
gross.
That's just gross. Anyway, Drek, what is the Sounds of Tyria this week?
We are still looking at the Eye of the North soundtrack, and this time we are going into the ice and snow with the ballad, I should say, the Ballad of Ice and Snow. It's a very Norn track. If you play Eye of the North, you know it centers around the Norn, and it centers around Jorah, who is a Norn hero that you can actually unlock in Guild Wars Eye of the North.
Ooh.
And the music very much reminds me of the Norn, just from playing the game so much. And it's a pretty cool little song. You need to go check it out. And next week we are still going to be in Eye of the North. I haven't figured out which song yet, though. I need to do that.
Yeah, work on that.
I will. But check it out.
Cool. I didn't know that you could actually unlock Jorah as a...
Yes, she
hero
is.
following you around.
Yep,
That's pretty
she
cool.
is one of the heroes that you can actually have fight with you, and she's very tall.
Well,
Very,
she's annoying,
very
that makes
tall.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So, Thelros, tell us about this week's video spotlight.
What can I say, really? There's just so much...
Dancing?
There are things in the Guild Wars 2 community that defy all description. This is one of those things. It is a in-game dance fitness video, Guild
Okay.
Wars 2 themed, and it's yeah.
Okay.
I don't
So
know
since
what to
Thelros
say.
is running out of words, basically,
I was going to say that
Since
was
we've-
very descriptive. I
we've used
really...
up Thelros's word quota for the day, so he can't talk anymore. He just ran out of all the words. But basically, this video is this guy decided to make a dance video. He's a dance instructor, and he decided to draw some inspiration from the How to Dance Volume 1 item that you can get in game, which is like a secondary kind of dance thing that you can use. It's like an item you use, and it lets you do a dance that's not your racial dance. And so he made a dance fitness video based on that dance, so you can do that dance in real life, so you can get fit. And I don't know, keep playing Guild Wars 2, but more fit.
I just
Yeah.
can't believe somebody took the time to actually do this. That's what just blows me away. And
Yeah.
he kind of like, he is doing the dance, and then in like the left-hand corner of the screen, he has the dance how it is in game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just crazy that he's actually
Doing
matching the dance from the game in real life.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It took a lot of effort to do that, I bet. So this week's weekly community outfit is Magitek Zeke. I think I'm pronouncing that right. This week's outfit is I'm running out of words now. Courtesy of Jams, who sent in their Asura, Magic Chemist Zeke. It's Friday morning. That's my excuse. Like every Friday morning when we record. But Magic Chemist Zeke is a semi-armored magical brawler setup, and this is a very red and gold themed Asura outfit. It uses the Adventurer's goggles, Scarlet's shoulders, dyed a very vibrant, glowy yellow, Honor of the Waves chest, Honor of the Waves gloves, Inquest breeches, Honor of the Waves boots, and the Fractal Capacitor back piece, which is pretty cool. So yeah, it's very the goggles add a nice touch. It looks very Asura. It definitely looks like you would picture a Asura elementalist to be dressed as. It's very appropriate. So nice job, Jams, on that. And now we'll move into the lore book if I can manage to talk correctly more. So this is the lore book where we take a look at a place, character, race, or artifact and examine the lore surrounding it and why it's important to our gameplay. And today I'm going to tell you about Asura Gates, which are super important because they let us move around the world, besides just waypoints, which I'll talk about later. But today we're talking about Asura Gates, those big, glowy, purple Stargate gates. So only graduates from the College of Dynamics, which is one of the Asura colleges, can build or repair the gates. And the original Asura Gate network was actually built using the Central Transfer Chamber, and that was the main hub, and it was also the source of power. And it was kind of based on this dragon's quote-unquote dragon statue there. But then it kind of turned out that the dragon statue was actually a dragon, and its name was Primordus. And so it woke up, and so obviously some changes had to be made because, elder dragons and all. Each Asura gate is tuned to a specific location to wherever its twin gate is. So, for example, when you're a Sylvari and you want to leave the Grove, you can go to the Asura gate there, and it takes you to Lion's Arch. You go back through, it takes you back to the Grove. It's like a doorway. It takes a lot of energy to tune a gate, so they're not very frequently retuned to new locations. And although they are owned, built, and maintained by the Asura, the gates operate based on the laws where they are located. So this means that local governments can determine who or what can and cannot go through the gates. Also, apparently, in the lore, people have to pay fees to go through the gates, and they have to pay, more fees if they want to bring certain amounts of cargo through. That doesn't really translate gameplay-wise, because you can go through the Asura gates free of charge. You don't actually have to pay anything. But that is a thing in the lore. So that was pretty interesting, I thought. I definitely didn't know that they had to be College of Dynamics Asura to work on the Asura Gates. So now you know more about the Asura Gates. So, Thoros, what did you do this week in game?
Speaking of Asura, we mentioned in a previous episode that I made one, kind of.
Uh-huh.
I ended up deleting him and then remaking him again. But
a necromancer.
He is a necromancer, yeah. His name is Fafnir, as he was before. He is I think he's with statics, I believe. I didn't really pay too much attention because the word's complicated for me. But,
Okay.
But yeah, he's there. He's quite good looking, if I say so myself.
He is
for an
the
Asura.
creepiest Asura I've ever seen, you guys. He's super creepy.
There was that one that had the huge eyes.
Okay. He's still pretty creepy, though.
He's
Drac,
glorious.
back me up on this. Drac.
Yeah, he's pretty disturbing looking. I will give you that.
You should appreciate that, Drac.
I'm not saying that I don't. I'm just saying it's a little disturbing to see it, but I think you use the word dapper. I don't think I would use the word dapper to describe him.
The opposite of dapper, whatever that is.
But
Scary.
You definitely did good on the creepy scale, though.
Well, he is a necromancer and an Asura, so they're naturally creepy.
I suppose so.
You
and
should
the
know.
show notes, Thalros wrote, created Fafnir, bow before his glorious visage. So
I can use words.
we're gonna have to have a creepy necromancer off. Maybe that'll be next week's poll. Pictures of each of our necromancers and see which one is creepier.
Hey, there you go.
Oh, I'm going to lose in terms of outfits. Far outmatched.
See, I win. Well, we'll see. We'll put up the poll and we'll see. We'll let everybody else decide.
We'll have a face-off in terms of who can determine the gender the easiest.
Oh gosh.
Well, Cithras will lose that one.
Apparently.
That's the picky battles.
Whatever, I'll still win outfit-wise. Yeah, and you'll never beat me. So, Drake, what did you do this week?
I ran around in the Silver Waste for the first time.
I'm so
Nice.
sorry for you.
I don't know why I never really went to that area before, but then I didn't actually really do it to farm the portal. I mean, I figured while I was there, maybe I'd get lucky and get a portal drop. So it's not like that was the only reason why I was there. I just wanted to unlock some of the waypoints and to check it out. And it was like insane because there was just like a throng of people that I just kept following around because
It's pretty crazy.
everybody was doing all the events and everything. So yeah, I did manage to make a lot of money doing it though.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've been
Yeah.
doing tons of Vinewrath runs this week in the Silver Wastes, and I don't even care about the portal. It just gives me so much money. I just keep doing it over and over.
Yeah,
again.
it's
great.
Was kind of crazy the amount of people that were in there.
I'm sure you're aware that's where the dragon fight is too.
Speaking of the dragon fight, our friend Sarah did the dragon fight yesterday, I think it was, and she died a couple times, but she mostly did it in her first attempt, which is crazy. But she's a ranger, so I feel like that's kind of cheating. She has a pet that can res her. Compared to our poor little Mesmers, who just died instantly over and over again.
Yeah, portals do not work very well there.
No, they do not. The dragon fight. But yeah, Vinewrath's pretty good. I love making money off Vinewrath.
And besides that...
Speaking of... I was going to say... I'll see if you wait till you finish.
Well, I was just going to say, besides that, I did do some more of the Guild Wars Anniversary event.
Nice.
This time, basically all I did is I was doing the 9 rings just to work on my luck and unlucky title. Still kind of working on those to get more points to use in the Hall of Monuments in Guild Wars 2, because I still want that bow skin that I don't have enough points to unlock yet.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much it.
Yeah, I was just going to add that I did hit 200 gold this week. I got the
nice.
golden
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how much money you make when you're not spending it. For all you aspiring crafters out there, there's a secret.
Yeah.
Don't
Well, speaking
spend
of
all
crafting...
of it on crafting mats.
Speaking of crafting, I am so done crafting now, you guys.
Sure you are.
No, really, for serious this time. I finally made Maudry. So I'm done. I'm done with crafting. My friend
Until they
Glux...
come out with something else.
Until they come out with something else. My friend Glux took me through fractals.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. So remember how we were complaining about the Aether Blade fractal and how we just got owned by that entirely? Yep. We did that in one try.
Did you have a guardian with you?
I think we had a warrior.
Yeah, I think
so. What did you do?
We just ran around. We didn't do the stacking thing. We just ran around. I think we got lucky, though. We all ended up on the same side of the lasers.
Yeah, probably helped. I think part of our problem is that we had no one who was kind of tanky-ish.
Mm-hmm. But I will say, like, this sounds weird, but I'd much, much rather do groups. Oh, I'm pressing buttons in the show notes. Oops. I don't know what is going on today. But I much, much rather do a group with a bunch of players who haven't done the thing before than players who have done the dungeon or fractals or whatever a million times. Because I've noticed that players who are new to the fractals or the dungeon or whatever content it is will actually communicate in the chat and be like, oh, I don't know what's going on. Or like they'll be like, oh, we should wait for this. But they actually communicate and be like, oh, I think we should do this. Whereas the people who've done it a million times seem to just rush through it, and they assume everybody knows what's going on. And if you don't do what they expect you to do, they either drop the group immediately, or they, yell at you and call you names in chat, and it's not fun.
Yeah, that one person who was with us for that first time we did it was, I think they said they hadn't done it before either. They were quite patient for our failures. Patient,
very nice, yeah. And the first time I did fractals with Glux, it was also the same thing. Like, he was the only one who'd done fractals before. Everybody else was new, including myself, pretty much. And it went really well. Sure, it took a little bit longer, but generally it went really, really well. Then we did another run, and it was just awful because people kept joining, staying for like a minute, and we'd do like one fight, and then they'd leave because it wasn't going as fast as they wanted it to. Or we weren't following whatever plan they expected, so they left. It was really obnoxious. I got called names. It wasn't fun. I don't like that. So I'd much rather do it with a group who doesn't know what they're doing, take longer, die a lot, because at least they're nice. So, yeah, that's my rant. But yeah, I finally made Maudry. Very excited. I got Maudry too, which is super nice, because now basically every day I get a whole bunch of gifts that I can turn Bloodstone Dust into. But now I just have so much Dragonite ore. Please introduce a thing that eats Dragonite ore. I don't know what to do with all of it. And what else did I do? I made Reaver of the Mists, which is a axe, and it's like it looks like the Mesmer Illusion weapons, but it's an axe, obviously, that you can use. And that's a Mystic Forge weapon. I made that. It was good. So I think that's about it for this week. Anybody else have anything they did cool?
Nope.
Nope. Oh, I guess I did a little bit of PvP, but I feel like that's kind of assumed at this point. I do so much PvP.
Well, I attempted to do PvP.
Oh, yeah. Well, before the show today, we attempted to do PvP. We queued up, and then just as the match popped, Thalros' internet went out. So that
Again.
was fun. Again.
Right.
We lost 488 to 500. So if Aethelros had been there, we would have won.
Or lost.
We probably would have won.
Would have lost worse.
Whatever. Anyway, this week we got a donation from longtime friend of the Players Alliance Network, DJ Pimp Daddy, and he says that Drax's story about Felicia Day is what drove him to the donation.
Yay! Oh, and speaking of Felicia Day.
Gosh. Oh no! We almost didn't have a whole episode.
Almost got through, but I just remembered this.
Okay.
Her book, which is coming out in August, which is called You're Never Weird on the Internet, almost.
Mm-hmm.
She released the official book cover this week.
Very exciting.
So, and I pre-ordered because I was waiting to pre-order.
Sure you did.
So I pre-ordered the book. I'm all excited, and I pre-ordered the hardback and the Kindle version, both.
Wow, Drax.
Thank you.
Wow. That's dedication.
There is your Felicia Day update of the week. And thank you for enjoying the Gen Con Felicia Day story. You know, I have heard from more people on that story. People really, really liked my Gen Con story about Miss Day.
Oh, Drax.
Yeah.
You are something.
I am.
So if you would also like to help support Guild Wars players, you can go to our donation page at guildwarsplayers.com/donate. Or is it donation? Donate? I'm the worst. Something
Donate.
like that. Go donate. Yeah, that's
Donate.
it. And you can support the Players Alliance Network's Patreon, and you will find rewards like getting a mention on the show, or you can even be a guest on the show. So if you'd like to contact us, you can email us at podcast@guildwarsplayers.com. You can send us questions, topics you want us to talk about, advice, anything like that. You can also find us on Tumblr. We are guildwarsplayers.tumblr.com. I post up the podcast and some of our articles there. You can send us asks there. And we're also all on Twitter. The Players Alliance Network's Twitter is @PlayersAlly, and our site is @GWPlayers. I'm @Sithrith, Drax @Draculetta_72, and Aethelros is @Aethelros. And of course, you can always find us in-game. I'm Sithrith.6741. There's also Draculetta.7410. And of course, there's Aethelros.3164. And yeah, we're in-game, so you can say hello to us. The Players Alliance Network has a whole bunch of live shows besides this one. On Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern is DDO Players News. Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern is this show. And Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern is Locho Players News. You can find all these live shows by going to guildwarsplayers.com/live. There's a link to our live chat there. So go, check it out. And thank you very much for listening. I'm Sithrith, reminding you to look before you leap. Well, I hope you're committed to your super creepy necromancer.
I hope you can learn to obey his every command because he is clearly the lord of everything.
I think my necromancer begs to differ.
Clearly, you're mistaken.
My necromancer could squish your necromancer like a bug and then raise its corpse like a dead bug and use it as a tool.
We'll see. You just weigh 72 levels. At the end of the day, I'm way cuter than you, so... I've never said that, so...
What?
Never in the history of my entire life have I said that. At any point.